Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. We got a real exciting program tonight. I've got a young man I've been looking forward to talking to. He is a quarterback at the high school I cover. His name's Sam Evitts. He's a 22 Sam Evitts, a 2025 recruit cycle, and first year starting quarterback at Sequatchie County High School. Sam, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Man, I'm just glad I made it in time. I told you I was going to be late, but I made it with a good 5 minutes to spare.
You're good.
Sam, little 7-on-7 to start today. How'd that go today?
Yes, sir. We left the field house about 6:15. Got there at about 7:30 and started playing at 8. So it was quick, but we played Stone, Monterey, Kingston, and Clay County. We did really well. We were a little rusty. A lot of our guys, have been at different things: baseball, basketball, vacation. But we still did pretty well for not having a whole lot of reps with our very good first team, and so it went great though. We definitely have room to improve.
I've talked to so many coaches about that, Sam. A 3A school like Sequatchie County, or even a smaller school, say a 1A like South Pittsburg, or 2A like Bledsoe County, or even some of our schools we cover down in Alabama. So many kids play other sports. It makes it hard to get that practice in. Do you play any other sports, or is football your sole focus?
Yes, sir. I play basketball, and usually I am in. I've been in basketball. I've been a starter for the past 2 years, and I do enjoy basketball a lot. But I've worked out a deal with our coach Brent Hobbs, where I'll go to basketball every chance I get, but I'm not missing any football practice this June. I feel like I really needed to be with the football team just to focus on football this summer.
That's a big part of it. I'm sure. Being that 2 or 3 sports star, though, or playing 2 or 3 sports, just seems like it helps the development, though. I know a lot of the NFL players often talk about, you'll ask some guy that plays quarterback in the NFL who is the most influential coach in their career, and it might be a high school basketball coach or a baseball coach. You can pick up a lot of different how-tos playing other sports.
Yes, sir. When I started playing basketball, I didn't think I was going to play any as a freshman. And through injuries and things like that, I ended up having to start about half the season. And it just introduced me how fast any high school sport is, how different it is from middle school. And it honestly helped me with football, just introduced me how fast it is, how different it is.
Well, that you just led me in. You've got a future in this business. You just led me in my first question. Last year, we saw you get some snaps during the year. I do the play-by-play on the Sequatchie County game, so Sam's a little special to me if you can't tell. I saw you get your first snaps in the varsity games. I saw you then go through periods where you didn't get a lot of snaps, and then we got a couple of games that you did get snaps in. How did those snaps help you for this year?
Well, my first snaps I ever got was against Jasper at Jasper last year. And
in a crazy shootout.
Yes, it was. I think we ended up winning by 2. We both scored in the 50s, but we were down, I think, by 2 scores maybe. And our quarterback last year ended up getting banged up, and I went in on offense. And first play went good. Handoff to our running back, Britt Chadwick, 20-yard gain. Try to settle the nerves a little bit because this is my first varsity experience ever. I was terrified, to be honest with you. And then the next play, I go to throw a hitch. I bobble the snap and go to throw it, and I drop it out of my hand. And I pick it up and run and throw it to our receiver downfield, and he drops it. And we call a timeout after that. And the only thing I'm thinking in my head is it cannot get worse than what happened there. So there's no need to be nervous. There's no need to be scared. It's just time to play football now. It couldn't get worse. So,
I was thinking of that sequence today when I knew I was going to be interviewing you. And I was like, Coach Mack got the perfect timeout at that spot because once that play did happen,
Right.
You come back on the field and kind of settled yourself in a little more.
Yes, we drove down the field a little bit. We scored. Defense got us stalled next drive. Then we went down the field again and scored right before halftime and tied it up.
All right.
So it definitely helped settle me down. And then Peyton Bibb, being able to come back and had a great second half. We ended up winning a very important game.
All right, Sam. And I get so sitting in the booth, seeing you run on the field at that point. I was looking for your dad because he's usually in the booth with me. And at that point, you've grown a lot since then. You looked small then, but you're up to what, 6 foot, 6'1" now?
I'm about 6'3", about 180.
Yeah, I mean, when you walked on that field that night, you weren't 6'3", but what was that like, the speed of the game?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I mean, even my freshman year, JV was fast for me.
Okay.
My 8th grade year, I never ran the ball, never had to. Our offensive line was really good, always bigger than everybody. So I always had plenty of time, and I wasn't really going through progressions. I was just throwing my receiver, Jackson Tate, a lot downfield. And then in JV, of course, it's JV ball. I'm running everywhere. It's super different. And even that was fast. I definitely don't think I was prepared for going in, but I did my best and ended up helping my team win. So that's all that matters is we won that game, and it definitely helped momentum.
What did you play at last year? Were you about 6'1" then, or have you grown?
Yeah, about 6'1", 6'2", around there, yeah. But I was about 160.
Yeah.
I was small.
Yeah, I just remember thinking Sam looks small.
Yeah.
Of course, our quarterback last year, our starter, was a pretty big boy, so anybody in comparison would look small.
Right.
All right. One other question about last year, and then we'll move on. Last year, Coach Mack is such an X and O guy, and he prepares so in depth.
Mm-hmm.
Did he have you prepare with the starter and like, hey Sam, you're one play away from being in the game? What was that process week to week like to get yourself ready?
So every week, every Monday, we would come in for practice, and he would tell us the scout and the main reads and plays. Every week, we have a certain amount of drop back pass plays, run plays, and quick plays that we're going to use these specific plays because of what the defense is doing. Uh-huh. So every week we come in, these are the plays we're going to run this week. These are the plays we're going to practice. And I would definitely get some reps from the ones, but the main thing for me last year for my preparation was with the scout team offense, trying to help the defense run the other team's offense. That was the main thing I did last year. Yes, Coach Mack he's a big film guy. Every Sunday, after the game on Friday, we come in the field house, watch film for an hour, 2 hours. And but throughout the week, he's always just after practice. Me and Peyton would go, we'd watch film. He talked to us about these things, and he wouldn't treat me as like a second team quarterback. He treated me and Peyton very equal because a lot of the times last year, Peyton was an all-state safety, and he would be playing both sides of the ball, get banged up, helmet come off, something like that. I'd have to go in. So I was always trying to be as ready as I could.
And you said it. He was an all-state safety and played quarterback like fullback sometimes. So you had to be ready. And that's where I thought it was a great advantage for you to go through that process to be the backup. Last question. No, that was my last question about last year. Do you have anything you want to mention about last year? Anything that carries forward that's significant in your mind?
I'm just grateful that I think it's a very, everybody wants to get in and play as soon as they can. I wanted to play, wanted to help the team, but I'm just thankful that I didn't have a bunch of significant time my freshman and sophomore year, because I really think that it helps to build up into this year where I've been healthy, I've been able to watch, I've been able to learn under a great quarterback, a great coach, and I feel like it's made me so much more ready for this year.
All right, let's go ahead and start talking about this year.
Okay.
During this summer, I'm sure you've had a process, and I'm sure you've got some things that you do yourself to prepare. But being away from the game, being away from your team, you still have a routine that you need to follow. Throwing, I'm sure you do film studies that's not team required, but what's your process away from the team to get yourself ready to be the starting quarterback at Sequatchie County?
So for me personally, I always keep myself on a pitch count, or at least try to. I think it's very, very important that you're not throwing 100 footballs a day or so many during a week. I really always try to keep myself about 40 or 50 to try to keep my shoulder and my elbow healthy. And a big part of that is just doing simple workouts. That's not always, let's just go throw routes on there to receivers. Sometimes a lot of times an hour without a football to work on mechanics and just make sure, because when it all comes down to it, you're not going to be thinking about mechanics during a game and you're scrambling. It's just whatever's natural. And I'm trying to make sure that my mechanics, my throwing motion and everything ends up being good and natural during the game. So a big part of that for me is my quarterback coach. I have a personal trainer. His name's Fri Phillips. He's with Grundy County Chattanooga. I've been with him for about 2 years now, and he's just been great with me. He played quarterback at Signal whenever they won the state championship game a few years back, and then he played at Kentucky for a few years and transferred to Montana and blew out his ACL or his Achilles. But then now he's with QB Country and has just been a tremendous part in me playing quarterback. We bounced kind of all over trying to find a right guy to be our trainer, and we found Coach Phillips. And I really just think he's been so important in my quarterback career because I was lost. I didn't know a lot of things right to do, but he's fixed my mechanics. He's fixed my throwing motion. I'm throwing so much harder, farther, faster, just everything. And my footwork's gotten so much better. And he's honestly taught me a lot about the game too. And he's just been great.
And you're not the only quarterback he's worked with. I know a couple others around town, and he's worked with some of the most successful quarterbacks in the area at times.
Right. QB Country is not just high school. I mean, they work with tons of guys. I saw a video of them the other day working with Daniel Jones. They work with Stetson Bennett. They work with all these guys. I mean, they're always at the Manning Passing Academy with all those great guys. I mean, they know what they're doing, and I don't think they get a lot of credit for a lot of times, but they're an extremely, extremely good quarterback training company.
I've told your dad, and somewhere this year, I want to get Coach on the air and just let him run through some stuff. But he's such a kind of Chattanooga legend, and I'm glad you brought him up. Tell me one thing that he's taught you about your throwing motion to make it repeatable.
Well, a big thing of QB Country is getting away from the old things. We all love Peyton Manning. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but he has a terrible throwing motion. That's why
he does.
He wasn't always super consistent. A big thing is not over the top, kind of like he was, but not a sidearm. You find somewhere in the middle like that. That is supposed to keep your shoulder healthier. It's supposed to be more accurate, more consistent. Just getting away from the old stereotypes. And even some people still teach it that way, and that's fine. But that's the way that QB Country's taught it, and it's definitely helped me a lot.
That over-the-top thing, and that was all the rage 20 years ago. It does stress the shoulder tremendously to throw and to repeat.
And some people like Peyton and then Phillip Rivers and all those guys, they've always had that weird, or I guess normal for them, throwing motion, but it works for them, and that's fine if it works for them. But even guys like Aaron Rodgers, when he came into the league, he had that throwing motion, but he saw, as he progressed, he needed to change it if he wanted to prolong his career. And now his throwing motion's beautiful, to be honest with you. It's definitely the best one in the game, and you see how long he's playing for and still playing at such a high level. So even seeing that you need to change it to evolve your career is very, very special.
You also see it at a few years ago, just talking in general about quarterbacking, you've seen an evolution at your level at high school. Coach Mack will put 4 or 5 wide sets in, and a lot of time he's playing 11 personnel with 4 on the field. He does give you options, and we won't break down the game film, but when you are back, you have different levels to hit. And I'm sure being able to stretch that field out a little bit is of great advantage to you.
Yes, sir. The big thing with Coach Mack is getting our guys trying to be in a one-on-one situation, getting our guys, athletes in space, or trying to get our guys just trying to beat a guy one-on-one. And a big part of that, stretching out the field and me going through my reads, 1, 2, if it's not there, back to the check down, not trying to force anything deep, but just knowing, reading the defense off our play, trying to make it our game and not the defense's.
You know what? You gave me chill bumps. That's like the greatest coach answer I've ever gotten on this show. We are weeks away from the start of the football season, Sam, and I'm excited. We've got a jamboree at home in early November. Then we open the season at Bledsoe County. In Sam, it's a strange thing, me preparing for the season, looking at that schedule and seeing Bledsoe up front. As a player, does that change your mentality, or is it all just got to go out week 1 and play?
For me, it's always like it doesn't matter who it is. We'll see what they got on defense, and we'll play. I don't care if it's the worst team in the state or Alcoa. If we're going to go out there, see what they give us, and we're going to play. But for Bledsoe week 1, I think it's always an essential game, even though they're not district. It's always an essential game for the community, everybody to win that game, win the stump. I know for a lot of teams throughout the state, they play their non-district rival a lot week 1. It's kind of a good way to start off the season, get everybody really excited. I've got a lot of family in Smith County, and they play Gordonsville week 1 almost every single year. And that's always big for them. They play their rival, get the season all excited. And I guess that's kind of what we're doing.
And one thing it does is it will free I put the schedule up in the corner for you folks. I also have it posted on RiverCity-Media. One thing, playing your rival or playing, and we always, as in, when I say we, I mean Sequatchie County, always start with such a grind early in the year. For years, we started Marion County, South Pittsburg. It's of great value to go out there, even last year, and be able to know exactly where you sit, playing a defending state champion, playing a tradition-rich program. There's no question where you sit after that, right?
Right. I think I know as long as I've watched Sequatchie County high school football, it's been Pitt every year, and that kind of sizes up the year, right? Because they've always been in the state running. They're always a great team to go up for first. I believe we have them sometime week 5, week 6, somewhere around there.
Yeah, they're down a little bit.
But bringing Bledsoe week 1 to our house, hopefully I think we go in and we win that game, get the team all very excited, get that huge nervous game out of the way, and move on and get ready for the rest of the season. I think it's just a very essential that we win that game, so that that monkey's kind of off our back for the rest of the season, instead of waiting till week 5 all nervous about this huge game that everybody builds up. It's really good to have a great game where everybody's already nervous because it's week 1. And I'm extremely excited for it. I've always loved playing Bledsoe. I haven't played in either of the 2 games these past 2 years, but I've been on the sideline trying to help Peyton while he's playing with Coach Matt, just talking through all of it, and I'm excited to go out there and play.
Coach Mack mentioned last year, of course, Bledsoe wins the football game, and that the team might have had a hangover for a week or 2 recovering from that. Not last year, but this year, getting it out of the way week 1, it gives it some time for you to breathe before you get to the region schedule, really, the depth of the region schedule.
And even my freshman year, we won the game, and we were still kind of hungover just because of how physical a game it is. Doesn't matter if you win or lose; it's a huge physical game. And everybody on both sides of the ball was trying to give it their all because it's everything they've always dreamed of: winning the Bledsoe game, winning the Sequatchie game, just like their parents did.
Yeah.
Everybody's always going 110%, especially during this game, and it bangs everyone up, win or lose. So I'm glad we got it week 1. We get some recuperation before I think we have Watertown week 3.
Yeah.
So it's good to have us at least a little bit of a break before we go into district play.
All right, Sam. Just a side note here a little bit. You were talking about throwing away. You do have a tight end. I think he's still playing tight end in the house with you. Is there times that you just go throw with your brother out in the outside? You'll just say, "Hey, let's go throw 5 or 10." And
yes, sir. Me and Jack. He in middle school for a little while he was supposed to be playing quarterback until he grew to 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, that boy grew into a tight end.
Right. We've always, obviously we've been brothers, so we've always been throwing football. But ever since I've been a quarterback and he's been a tight end, obviously that's my guy to throw to. Almost every practice, every throwing session, even if he's not running routes, he's still catching the ball from me. And I think it's very important for us to have that connection. And even not him, even the rest of our receivers throughout. I think we probably started in December, maybe last week of November, where we would go to the indoor and I would get 10, 15 guys, receivers and our centers, and we would just do reps on air. We'd throw. We'd do 7-on-7. Just to try to get us a connection. I think that's so key is for a quarterback and a receiver to be on time, and not just one of them. I think all of them. I think the timing and the relationship is very key.
Well, that brings up. I'm telling you, you're leading me into every question, Sam. Of course, your brother. And just a side note. We talked a little about Peyton earlier, and this is the second time we're going to talk about him. He said the year he played with Cooper in high school was the funnest year he ever had. So you and Jack make sure to take a moment and enjoy that as brothers, because that is a special thing. That
yes, sir.
Quarterback throwing to the receiver brother.
Right. That's always been our dream is for me to throw him a touchdown. We'll definitely keep that ball.
Oh, absolutely. And I might have something prepared for that up in the booth already too. So,
yes, sir.
All right. You are a junior, but
yes.
you have never been the starter. So talk to me about how you've been invoking your leadership over the last few months since, Coach Mack would say every position's open, but last year we kind of looked and we said, well, Sam's going to be our starting quarterback next year. So you've had some time to invoke leadership into your daily routine. What does that look like for you?
Yes, sir. So this also goes back to basketball. This past year when I was a sophomore, our senior point guard went down and Coach Hobbs selected me to be our captain.
That's awesome.
And so I kind of, started trying to do that a little bit as a basketball player. But my big thing for football, because I got out of basketball at about March, and my goal was day one, come in there, be a leader. My big thing is everybody is equal. I don't think any seniors should, bully any freshmen just because I think everybody's equal. I take out the trash, I fill up the waters, I clean just like everybody else. And I feel like if I do that, everybody else will follow. That way everybody else respects each other. We don't need anyone on the team hating someone just because they're older. And every day Mondays seniors clean, Tuesdays juniors clean, and I feel like I really try to help, make sure everyone sees them cleaning and being part. So, I'm not trying to act or be better than anyone. I feel like everyone on the team should be an equal. A player-led team they're always the best teams.
Absolutely.
So that's my big thing.
Absolutely. You just said the $1 million question. When players lead themselves, it's a better football team.
Yes, sir. And I believe we have that this year. We have a lot of very key leaders. Evan Griffith, our senior D lineman, he's lettered all 3 years this year too. He's also just recently got a football offer from Bethel and Cumberland. He's a huge leader from ours, and he'll be a guy for us. One of my receivers, he'll be a junior with me, Jackson Tate. He's played a whole lot this past year and a little his freshman year. He's a really big leader with the corners and the receivers. He'll get on you, but then he'll also help you a lot. He's very important for us. Another guy, Harrison Smith. I know he'll just be a coming sophomore, but he knows how to do it right. He knows how to lead. He knows what it's supposed to look like. He's very respectful. He teaches well, and he's going to be a very special player too. I think us four and a few other guys, I think we're the main leaders of the team, and we really try to set a good example for everyone. And so just so, even guys coming up can watch us and learn from us, and then they can, try to help their team too.
Well, that's a wonderful point, and I commend you for taking that attitude. You have a very loaded freshman class with a ton of talent in it that can help the football team now. So, have you and your brothers in the class, have you tried to? It's hard, but you've got to really bring them into the fold early if they're going to contribute this year or next year.
4 of the main ones, that really shined last year in middle school were Jack, Hunter, Gowan, and Kaysen. Mm-hmm. And Kaysen right now is starting a middle linebacker for us. Gowan right now is getting really, really good second team reps at corner and receiver. Might have a chance of starting at one of those further in the season. Jack right now is also doing the same thing. He was really getting a lot of reps at linebacker and at receiver. And then Hunter is getting a lot of reps at safety and behind me at quarterback. One big thing, Peyton really taught me a lot of the things that I need to do, as a quarterback. And I think that's one big thing I really try to focus on with Hunter is especially because I came in not knowing at all what a spread offense was. I didn't know what a progression. I didn't know any of this stuff. And we all kind of had to learn on the fly. So, and I know it's fast for him and because I know how fast it was for me. But I'm really trying to, put him under my wing, mentor him, because I really feel like he'll be better than me by the time, he's a junior and senior. He throws it way better than I did when I was a freshman. So I'm really trying to, teach him, get him ready. Like, hopefully he'll do that for his next guy too.
Right. And Hunter could be, same thing as last year. Hunter could be full. Your hat flies off. He's got to come in and take a snap and be effective at any time.
Yes, that's why I'm trying to get him ready. Just like, I'm sure he's nervous just like I was last year as a backup. You're cold. You haven't really thrown a lot on the sideline. And then my helmet comes off. He's got to go in and take a snap. It's terrifying. I know the feeling. And that's why I'm just trying to get him ready any moment, whether I get hurt, whether I have to come out, helmet breaks, something like that.
Yeah.
Trying to get him ready and prepared to lead the team, in some situations like I did last year.
Sam, but one question I didn't put on the little sheet I kind of sent you. Talk about your center relationship and how that's got to be special between the quarterback and the center.
Me and my center, Kane Bishop, we've been together since we were real little. And I never really played quarterback until about my 7th grade year. But he was center then and center all the way up here. And with Bishop, you can always count on for a good snap. Super, super rare when he has a bad snap. And it's always right at my chest, super, super fast, and gets there quick and gives me enough time, to be ready to make a quick throw or something like that. But me and Bishop, that's all we do is just snap, just get in practice. The more reps, the better. And one thing with Bishop is he's super consistent. That's the thing I love about his center is he's super consistent. I know where the ball's going to be. I know just catch it quick and throw it. I don't have to guess or be nervous if it's going over my head or on my feet. It's coming right up my chest every time. And that's one thing I love about Bishop.
And that gets your hands in the position it's got to be in.
Yes, sir.
To throw the football so much easier. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's run on to the next topic. I'm gonna tell you what I get asked all the time.
Okay.
I get asked all the time, hey, what's Sam gonna be like as a quarterback? Because everybody knows I've seen all the games. I do even a couple of junior high games. Mm-hmm. My answer is always starts with this, and I think it's one of the biggest compliments I can play. I always tell everybody, Sam is a quarterback. If you see Sam walking down the street, you'll say, that's a quarterback. If you see him throw the football, you say, that's a quarterback. What kind of mentality does it take to be a quarterback?
My big thing, lead by example. I think if you have a quarterback that's not a leader, that doesn't have a good attitude, that looks like he doesn't want to be there, no one else wants to be there either, and they see that. But I think I've always kind of been told I was kind of meant to play quarterback. I'm too slow to play receiver. I'm too small to play tight end. Can't play any defense. Quarterback's really the only position I can play in football. So that's just always I never really played through Little League, but thankfully Coach Tyler Faulkner in middle school kind of put me in there one day in 7th grade spring practice. Was like, hey, you ever played quarterback before? I was like, no, I haven't. He's like, well, we're going to try you there. And I fell in love. I couldn't believe I've missed out on it all this time. It's something that I've always looked back onto and been very grateful for Coach Faulkner doing that for me. Just being able to play quarterback, it's really the greatest position in sports. And there's a lot of things that come with it, a lot of responsibilities and everything, but I wouldn't want to be anything else.
And it's not lied. I say that, Sam. I've been around, and I see one of the things that I always look, and I'm in the booth, and I'm calling the game, and I get busy, and I forget. But every time Peyton would come off the field and talk to Coach McIntyre, you were the third set of ears in that conversation, and I always thought that is a quarterback preparing, even if he's not playing this play.
Yes, sir. I've always been a guy. My dad's real similar to this, just being prepared. Yeah. Doesn't matter what it is. With school, I'm a big study guy. On my test, I'm studying for 2 or 3 days. With practice, even with practice film, as soon as practice is over, I watch the practice film, see what I can do better, and preparing. And these past 2 years, that's all I've been doing. I've been talking with Coach Mack, watching film with him in the off season, watching Peyton playing during the games, talking with.
Folks, we dropped Sam. I will get him right back. Stay with us. Just sorry about that. We'll get him right back in. But Sam was talking.
Sorry, did I lose you?
Yeah, you did. We all good. I caught it. You were talking about preparing with film.
Yes, sir. Throughout the off season, me and Coach Mack both, we got together and we just watched film just constantly for hours at a time. After practice, we'd watch film and just kind of help me prepare for this season and be ready. And that's what I've been doing the past 2 years, is just preparing for this year. I've been I knew my 8th grade year when I was a starter, this was the last time I was going to be a starter for 2 years. Yeah. I knew Peyton was the guy, and I was fine with that. I knew I needed a few years to prepare. And I've been looking forward to my junior in high school to play, starter quarterback for a long time. And that's just what I've been doing. I've been, just talking to Coach Thompson, Coach Mack, and Peyton, just about anything that I can do to make myself better.
And it sounds like Peyton was an active participant in preparing you, and that's wonderful. Like you said, Peyton was a senior and an all-state safety, and and what you're doing with Hunter, that's how a program is built.
Yes, sir.
One question, and then we're going to move on to some kind of fun stuff. And I do want to, I want you to tell me a little something here. I am a Sequatchie County fan that's never seen a game. And I understand we got a new starting quarterback. What does that quarterback do that I'm going to be seeing on the field?
I think lead my guys, knowing, on 99% of plays, I know exactly what every person on the field is going to do. Knowing that is very important. I've always felt like, just so, hey, Sam, what do I do on this play? And I tell them, just real quick. Knowing all those things, I help, and get the ball out fast. It's high school football. It doesn't matter how good your line is. You got to get the ball out fast.
Absolutely.
One main thing I focus on, whether it's a 3-step drop or a quick passing play, I'm going to get the ball out of my hand quick. You hold on to it too long, someone's going to come backside right out the back of your hand,
All right, Sam. A little bit more. There is a great desire on your part to continue football after high school, and folks, like, this is important to you to put great film together. When I put on the thing, I said 2025 quarterback. I did that intentionally because I'm like, well, I'm sure Sam will have down the road might want to play some more. But as a junior, you have to put it on the film now. A lot of kids get to start before this year, but I think I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think you're better prepared to be a starting quarterback.
Yes, sir. And my big thing, I would love to play college football. I love football more than anything. I would love to play for 5 years in college football. But, right now, number one priority, let's win high school football games.
Absolutely.
I'm not worried about, hey, I don't have a lot of passing yards this game. Let's throw it downfield, coach. I need film. Whatever it does to win the game, whether I'm throwing the ball 35 times or 0, whatever it does for us to win the game, that's what I'm going to do.
Absolutely. That's the best answer you could have gave. All right, Sam, let's go away from football for a minute. Let's go away from all sports. Sam is sitting in his room. He's just finished studying, or he's going to the car, or he's somewhere, and he needs to play music. What's he listening to?
My guy, Tyler Childers.
Oh.
He's folk, bluegrass, whatever you want to call it. I've been listening to him for a long time, and it don't matter if it's a new song or his same song 10 times. Tyler Childers is my go-to kind of guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
What is your favorite food to grab post-game or pre-game or whatever? What's your favorite food to eat general?
In general,
yeah.
I gotta go with New York strip and mashed potatoes, cooked medium. I don't think you can go wrong. anywhere you get it from, it's gonna be good.
How about post game? Do you have a little special tradition you like?
Not really. I kind of whatever the quarterback club feeds it, I'll eat it because I'm always hungry after.
You know what? They put a good spread out there. I've grabbed a couple of those before. So.
Yes, sir. They're good.
All right. What game day superstition, tradition, what is there anything that I'm going to put on my left sock, then I'm going to put on my right? Is there anything that you do that kind of just most people would go, well, that don't make a whole lot of sense, but it's part of your game day tradition?
So for me, everyone was getting high, getting excited, listening to loud music, everything. I think for me, I want to get calm as I can. And I did this starting my 8th grade year when I was starter, and even my freshman and sophomore year when I wasn't playing. I think of playing quarterback and playing football is almost a completely different game. As when you're not a quarterback, you're wanting to be physical, you're wanting to be mean, you're wanting to hit the guy in the mouth in front of you. As a quarterback, I'm looking to be calm. I want to be calm whether we're up by 30 or down by 30. I want to be, ready for any situation. One thing that's a really cool fact I learned the other day was Joe Burrow one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He has a condition where his blood pressure doesn't change no matter if it's the first play or the last play and they're trying to win the game. He stays the exact same. And I feel like that's one thing I don't want to do. So pregame, I stretch, I do everything like that. I stretch, put all my stuff on, and I just listen. I listen to Tyler Childers. I listen to Zach Bryan, Cody Jinks, just, easy guys, easy music, that gets me calm and ready and focused.
So many guys spend it before the game. Even last night I texted you about the baseball game, and in the seventh inning, Tennessee's relief pitcher come in and was throwing 102. By the ninth, he was throwing in the 95s, which is still amazing. But if you get too hyped, especially in a position that requires kind of a technique to it, you can just become helter-skelter, and it will hurt the team more than it help the team.
Yes, sir. I mean, trust me, when we score, I'm the most excited guy on the planet. But as soon as we get to the sideline, I'm grabbing the iPad, grabbing the headset, and just focusing on what could I have done better that drive. Just not looking in the past, moving forward, whether we scored 99-yard touchdown or I just threw a pick six. Not looking in the past. If you dwell in the past in anything, it's not going to end well. So that's what I try to do. I try to move forward, stay calm during the game, no matter what's happening.
All right. Outside of football, what do you do for fun? Outside of sports in general, what do you do for enjoyment?
That's tough. Football's kind of my life, but I guess hang with my friends. I have 4 cousins in Smith County, and one's like 3 weeks younger than me, and then Jack has 2 that are about a month older than him. And so we've always been like brothers. I don't think of them as cousins, I think of them as brothers. And when we can, we have a little farm down there, and we go down there as much as we can. And I go with him and Jack, and their names are Jay, Ben, and Luke. And we fish, we ride 4-wheelers, we play football, we play baseball, we play Madden. Just being with them mainly. I think we've always competed against each other. I'm sure a lot of times we've gotten in fights we shouldn't have, but we always compete. Yeah. And we're like brothers, and I guess those are kind of my guys whenever I'm not in sports.
Not to throw out, but I have seen some photos you in Knoxville on a football Saturday too. So
yes, sir. Yeah, I've always been, growing up living in Tennessee. Family's always a huge Tennessee fan. That's the first thing I wore was Tennessee onesie. So I think we have season tickets. We go as much as we can. I've been going since I was real little, and that's always fun.
Yeah, it's always fun. I'm an old man, and I still go every time I can. Was you at the Alabama game?
I was not. I was at the Florida game, and that was a huge game. Almost lost it, but it was definitely fun to be there. That was one of the first games of the season where you kind of felt, the special season coming on.
Absolutely. When you're watching football, and so this is outside, when you watch NFL or college football, do you watch the quarterbacks?
Yes, and that's one reason why it doesn't matter if it's college, if it's NFL, if it's Arena League, the XFL, it doesn't matter. I just love watching any kind of football and just seeing kind of what the quarterback does. Not necessarily comparing myself, but just watching and see what he does, because everybody does it differently. No matter if you're Little League or NFL, it's all different. And I always love watching different guys. But I've always grown up as a Titans fan and everything, which they don't throw the ball a whole lot. But one team I'm big on is the Chargers. I love my guys, Justin Herbert. I think he is a great guy to model your game after. He's completely focused on football, nothing else, and he can sling it. And so that's anytime I get a chance, I try to watch the Chargers and Jay Herbert.
I enjoy watching him too. I also enjoy watching Trevor Lawrence.
Yes, Trevor is. He's if you made a quarterback in a lab, that's how he looked.
Yeah.
Huge, smart starter from day one in Clemson, right out of high school. Just absolutely born with a cannon.
I got to see him play in high school, and I got to be around him just a little bit while he was there, and he was a worker, and that's what a lot of people don't see is, to get success at that level, you work for a long time.
Yeah, that's one reason why I think football is such a special sport. Where in basketball you probably have an even number of practices and games. Baseball, you have more games than you do practices. Football, there's 10 times as many practices as you have games. You really have to love football because you have to love the practice, the lifting, the workouts, the running. Because at most you have 15 games in a season.
Yeah.
At minimum you could have one game or one play and you're hurt. But, I think that's why football is so special, and everyone that plays it, that's why it's not meant for everyone. Everyone can't just grind for such little, game days.
That's true. And Friday Night Lights is one of the most special times of your life. So take time to enjoy it. Sam, first of all, what an incredible interview. I enjoyed you joining us today. Last question. Your whole family is around Sequatchie County football. And I'm talking about your nuclear. What does that feel like? Does that bring something extra special to it to you?
For me, yes. My dad's, he's the president of the quarterback club. My mom, she's a teacher at the school. My sister, she always wants to be a high school cheerleader. My brother's on the team with me. And for that, just having the support from my family, from them, it's huge. Not everybody has that. And I have very loving family, loving parents that are always supporting me no matter what. And especially when it comes to Sequatchie County football, they'll do whatever that, I need or ask for them, whether hey, I need a new ball, I need new cleats, I need to be here at this time. They're going to do whatever, especially, for me and the program. I feel like, we've tried, my whole family, we've tried to help bring this program up as much as we can, no matter what we can.
Absolutely. And that you took the words out of my mouth. Your family is ingrained as Sequatchie County football as anybody I know. And it's a pleasure to get to know you and your dad and Jack as he comes up, and of course your sister and your mom. It's a great feeling to have it all be part of one bigger family, which is Sequatchie County football.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right, Jack. Thank you for the time. Any shout outs you want to give or anything you want to give before we get out of here?
Just my whole line. I love my whole line. I always give a shout out. Left tackle Kyle Shell, left guard Jackson Bird, center Kane Bishop, right guard Evan Griffith, and right tackle Camden Penna. I love those guys. They protect me, so they definitely need credit.
Yeah, and you got a couple of veterans in there and a couple of new starters, and it's kind of a group that's played a lot of football already.
Yes, sir, and they're going to be great. I know it.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Thank you, Sam, for joining us. You're listening to River City Media, Around the Area High School Football with Sam Evitts.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Anytime, buddy.